Hello, and welcome to the next episode in this tutorial series. In today's tutorial series, we'll be going over kind of early game and settings that you would use for setting up a game, and how they have changed in C++ and what they will add and also generate and change just so that everyone is aware. This suggestion for this tutorial came from Sarah on the forums. So we're going to go through it. So at the top, you can change name, obviously, and then maximum number of systems, local system generation. So this is the chance of generating a system, and how many are close to it, and then local system generation speed, the maximum difference in systems almost between a new silver system, as it says in the tooltips. Construction cycle, that's how many seconds it will take for a new construction cycle to take place, which is updates to the construction progress as a whole. Difficulty speed, the lower you the lower you decrease the difficulty at 20%, then the MPRs will start with 20% less pop. They will start with 20% less growth rate. They'll start with, or not 20%, they'll start with 80% less pop, 80% less growth rate. So if I put 20, that's 80%. If I put 60, that's 40%, etc. Research speed. Now, this is a very popular one that people have been using, and I use myself, is affects everything in the universe, at least from what we understand. It may change in the future, so do not quote me on this. And this affects basically progression. So the main benefit of this is that you can slow down the game to where you have literal generations of ships. So you have 50 years of one generation, one technology, and then 50 years of another, and then so on and so forth. Terraforming speed, how fast you can terraform planets in relation to Earth. Survey speed, how many points you need and how quickly you generate them. MPR generation chance. So each time you enter a system, there is a chance based upon, as you can see in the tooltip here, suitable means. So no ruins, oxygen atmosphere above 0.07 and below 0.4, oxygen pressure under 30% total pressure, temperature between minus 40°C and plus 60°C, gravity 0.4, above 0.4 but under 2.5, no dangerous gases, and hydro extent must be at least 10%. So you can increase that if you want to find some more MPRs, but that does not mean that every single system will have a 30% flat chance. That just means that those that have suitable means will have that chance. Ruin generation, the chance of an ancient ruin, or this is the same thing but with MPRs. So if you don't want MPRs to generate other MPRs, you can do that, so they won't get in other fights except with the prerequisites. Ruin generation, so which planets will have ruins. So the suitable means surface temperature between minus 73 and plus 87°C with gravity greater than 0.4G. Minimum comments per system. And then you got the truce countdown, and this is for multiple starts and also multiple players. So there you go. Space Master passwords, if you want the password for Space Master, which you can enable in the top right over. Detection, so this is just how the game detects things. So we're just gonna go with I forget which one's the normal. But yeah, we're just gonna go normal systems. Soul disaster, you can change it so it's warming or cooling. This is just a cool little benefit you can get if you want to RP with like or a challenge you want to it's changing. Now we get to the more topical changes. So known star systems. Known star systems basically are stars that we use in real life. So Alpha Centauri, Proxima Centauri, all these different star systems, those are the ones we use. If you don't, they will also generate based on celestial coordinates. So Proxima Centauri will be very close to Sol, while like Tau Ceti will be farther away, for example. I believe I've gotten that right. And it will also include actual star types and orbital distances. So that means this will affect also the planets that are surrounding them. But the planets in the systems themselves are not based on reality, because at the time of Steve coding this, I do believe we didn't know that much about our nearby star systems. For example, Proxima Centauri and Alpha Centauri, we know quite a bit more now, and we know certain planets in those systems. Orbital motion, basically it will simulate the motion of planets and asteroids around their respective bodies that they're orbiting around. Turn this off if you want better performance, but it's C+, so you don't really need to. Generate new races as MPRs. So, during system generation, this basically just means that the new races will be MPRs. You can turn this off so that you can generate them as player races. Allow human MPRs. This will allow MPRs to spawn with a human species, which will have the same tolerances and all that good stuff of normal humans. Generate non-TX. Do not click this. This is broken. Steve has not coded this part in yet because he never got around to it, and two, he never got around to it in VB6. It's just a kind of a placeholder. Generate precursors. Spoiler warning. I repeat, spoiler warning for the next 4 ones. If you do not want a spoiler, do not listen ahead. I repeat, do not listen ahead if you do not want spoilers about MPR. Skip ahead about 20 seconds, or skip ahead about a minute to 2 minutes, okay? Precursors, they are on planets, and they can also be, and they usually are found guarding alien ruins. They are very dangerous. They usually have better tech than you start with, and they do not behave the same as an NPR. They usually never venture out, and they only stick to that planet. Invaders, they are not implemented yet. They use wormholes in VB6 anyway. I'm not sure how I'll do it in this one, in C+. And they are very, very dangerous and very, very powerful. Think about wormholes. Generate Star Swarm. Star Swarm, thinking like Tyranids. They have lots of ships, but they're very weak on their own, and they can appear at any time. Generate Rackers. Now, these are a new spoiler. The Rackers are like orcs from 40k or fantasy or from Tolkien or whatever. They live on planets they have no access to ships or any of the sort, and they only have ground forces. But they are from like an ancient empire, and they have access to some of the technology like STOs, so surface to orbit weapons, and also genetic enhancements for some of the tribes. Okay. Spoilers over. Spoilers over. Spoilers over. Okay. MPRs activate ancient races, so there you go. They may activate ancient races, so that's something to consider. Realistic commander promotions, so they based on the skill medals and time and grade, so just makes it realistic. Commander political bonuses, they are promoted on their skills. If you use this, they're put on political favor, which is no use. This is simulate bad political actions, RP. Inexperienced fleet penalties. So if the fleet can be particularly slow if you don't train it up, all jump points are stable, so it means what it says on the tin. Every single jump point will be stable. You do not need to stabilize it. No maintenance required. No maintenance will be required for any ship or vessel. Civilian shipping lines, so you can turn civilians off if you do not want civilians. Civilian harvesters, if you don't want civilian harvesters, you can turn civilian harvesters off. New tech from Conquest. This a lot means that every time you conquest another civilization, you will gain new technology from that civilization. Next, over here, starting year. Big note about this one. Feel free to set it to anything but above 9,000. You can go to a max of 9,999 before you get errors in C+, due to how it's been coded. So I advise starting at least below 9,000, and the lower is generally better. This does not have any impact on starting points except for the fact it's just a cosmetic change for RPs. Number of player races. So this is the number of player races at the start of the game. Usually 1 for you. Nothing to worry about. Number of NPRs. Now with C+, you have the option to actually have more than 1 NPR or more than 0 NPRs because the game isn't 5 times million slow. So this means that you can have multiple NPRs. Now these NPRs will spawn like you will on the other side of the galaxy usually, based on these numbers here, minimum maximum NPR distance. And they will fight on their own. They will explore on their own. They will create empires. They will do what they do, and you will have to deal with them eventually. Minimum solar system jump points. So this will tell you how many solar system jump points minimum. 0 is random. I do advise setting this to like 5 or 6. If you don't want to be isolated, or at least above 1, because there is some known bugs, at least in some of the earlier versions, that you can get cut off from the entire galaxy. Earth mineral deposits, what the mineral deposits are, how much of them there are, etc. Okay, I'm going to create a game. So in this tab, you have various options. So over here we have general names. So this will be what your nation's called. This will be the short of the nation, and this will be your home rule name. You can make the create new race a non-player race. You can make yourself a conventional empire. You can make the NPR a neutral race. You can also assign type points to any NPR or to yourself. You can also assign ground forces and ship classes. I do not advise any auto design. And you can also have your home system geo and graph surveyed off the bat. These are your species kind of temperaments and what they can deal with and what they can't deal with. This is what you're going to start with. Population bases this on everything. So if we change this, we're going to have 1 billion. So we're going to have X amount, 10 billion, etc. Like that. Generally, I advise starting with 1 billion, but you can also start with 500 million or a little bit more than that. I do not advise doing a big pop start because you can kind of be overwhelmed. Naming things, what your ship systems, classes, and ranks and all that stuff is named of. So whatever you feel is my best. And then we have fuel stockpile, maintenance stockpile, starting tech points, and stuff that you can individually set. And then below here, you can change the flags. You can change what you use and what you use for your race. Okay. This has been over all the starting settings for the beginning of the game. I hope you did enjoy. This was quite a long one, so please do give a like, and I do hope you enjoy due to it not being short. You guys on the next tutorial.